communicate all over the ice, hit the net, crash and bang. Right? Once we start doing that, you guys will start seeing pucks go in a lot more.
Oh, they communicated, they crashed and banged, and yeah, they hit the net pretty much all game long. Oakville dominated against Buffalo. Highlights coming up. This is the OJ Today. Welcome everyone to our first show of the year. I'm Alex Bastiavansky. All season long, we'll be bringing you all the stories, all the news, and highlights from the Ontario Junior Hockey League. Today, Kingston head coach Torian White will join me via Skype to discuss his team's start in the ridiculously tough East Division. Plus, we'll have tons of game highlights for you. But since it's our first show, let's catch up on what transpired last year and the excitement to come this season. And this may just be the most exciting year in the history of the OJHL. And that's not just hyperbole. With Trenton hosting the Dudley Hewitt Cup and Cobourg hosting the National Championship Royal Bank Cup this coming May, all eyes will certainly be on the OJ. What do you do for an encore? Last season was one of the most memorable in the history of the OJHL. For the first time, the league played host to the top Junior A teams from across the planet at the World Junior A Challenge, packing rinks along the way in Trenton, Whitby, Wellington, and Cobourg. Then in the spring, the Trenton Golden Hawks advanced all the way to the semifinals of the National Championship in Saskatchewan. It was a season to remember, and it helped set the stage for what's to come.
Yeah, last year was a great year for us. It all started out in Buffalo. We had at our showcase almost 200 scouts attended to get a read on the players for the season. And it all accumulated at the end of the year where we had a great best of seven series, that went 5 games with Georgetown and Trenton. And saw Trenton come out on top, and then Trenton just had a magical run. They went up to the Dudley, and they took the Dudley undefeated, and then they went into the Royal Bank Cup, and they were a win away from making it to the finals.
Last year was a special year. You know, I've been around the game all my life. I'm 74 years old, and those kids were just special last year. They came together off and on the ice, and you know, we never got beat last year. We just ran out of time. That was the saying in that dressing room, and that's the way they felt. And you know, I explained to the kids this year, the boys last year, they looked each other in the eyes and they knew they were there for each other. And they were just a special group.
And then this year is going to be fantastic. It's probably one of the most exciting seasons you're ever going to see in the OJHL. Very rarely does a league get to host both a national and a regional championship. So the very first championships we're going to be holding is the defending champions, Trenton Golden Hawks, to be hosting the Dudley Hewitt Cup, which ticket sales already are starting to go through the roof. So if people want tickets, you got to get down there and get them soon.
We are very, very excited to be hosting the Dudley. The town has really embraced the boys and the team. And this was one of our goals, was to try to bring something to the town. And going after the Dudley Hewitt was a dream. And we worked very hard, and we were up against some great competition in Oakville and so on. And with the town's backing, we were able to come together and win the right to host the Dudley. And we're really, really excited about it.
The Dudley is the appetizer for Canadian Junior A hockey's ultimate prize, the National Championship, the Royal Bank Cup. Cobourg won the right to host the tournament, and it will be the first time in 32 years the league has hosted the competition, going all the way back to Aurelia in 1985.
We're very fortunate that Hockey Canada awarded Cobourg as the Royal Bank Cup host for 2017. Brent Tully and his group and the ownership group with Mark Mercer have been doing an outstanding job with John Druce behind the bench. They've built a great team. They're, throughout the year, they're a nationally ranked team. They're one of our top teams in a very, very tight East Division. Sponsors have jumped on board. The town of Cobourg's jumped on board. The fans have jumped on board. I think we had 60, 70 volunteers signed up for the event.
Well, it's certainly a real honor and pleasure to host the RBC Cup this season. There obviously a lot of great planning went into the bidding process way back when, and to be successful at it now. The tough part begins both on and off the ice. Obviously it's a massive project for our planning committee to undertake, and are doing an excellent job and creating the excitement around the tournament leading into May, and of course on our side, the hockey operations, building a team that's capable of winning. It's certainly a fun challenge and a stressful one as well, but albeit lots of fun, and it's going to be an excellent opportunity for us.
Okay, the Players of the Month were recently announced, brought to you by a Bar Down Hockey official clothing supplier to the OJHL. And they are. The goalie was Stefano Durante of Coburg, who posted a stellar 8-1-0 record. In the Northeast Conference, it was Danny Bozzio of Kingston, who had 19 points. And in the Southwest, Jordan Crocker of Georgetown, who had 18 points for the month of October. OJ commitments recently. Cameron Wright of St. Mike's will take his game to Bowling Green of the WCHA in 2017-18, and Ryan Sidorsky of the Buffalo Junior Sabres is heading to the Union Dutchman of the ECAC in 2019-20. And OJ trivia, this week's question: who was the 2015-16 OJHL scoring champion? First person with the correct answer in an email to Rick Morocco, that's rmorocco@theojhl.ca, wins an OJHL prize pack. Welcome back to the OJ Today. Well, despite losing 3 of its star players in the offseason, Oakville has been a force thus far in the campaign. They've been laying the smackdown on pretty much everyone they faced so far, racking up 86 goals in the process. Now, that's second most in the entire Western Conference. Last Friday, Buffalo was the latest squad to succumb to the Blades' relentless offensive attack. OJ highlights now, brought to you by Jostens, official championship ring supplier to the OJHL. Buffalo was in for a world of hurt in this game against the Blades. Already up 1-0 in the first. Blades on the PP. Chris Brill Morgan had a huge game for Oakville. Here he goes, bar down. His first of the contest to make it 2-0 for the Blades. And then just 30 seconds later, Jackson Doherty steals. Jack Ricketts with the finish. Buffalo didn't know what hit them. Blades up 3-0 at that point, and things only got worse in the second for Buffalo. Again, sloppiness in their own zone. Tyler Hillenbrandt leaves it for Brill Morgan, who splits the wickets on poor Alex Kamare. Brill Morgan second, Oakville fully in control, up by 4. At the 10:20 mark, Doherty with the nice solo effort. Kamari gives it the old ole as he just waves at it with the glove, and it was getting bad. Blades go up 5-0. Mercifully, the Sabres do get one back with the man advantage as they pass it around. Adam Tretowitz tips it home out front, and Buffalo narrows the gap to 4 goals. Still a mountain to climb, though. And as if there was any doubt, the Blades hit right back. Drew Warad fans on it. Brill Morgan, he finishes, and there's the Hattie for Chris as he restores the Oakville lead to 5. And this was the kind of day it was for Buffalo. Christian DeFelice rings it off the iron. Oakville turns it up the other way, and it's Jackson Bales to Ryan Foss with the sweet dangle. 1 of 2 on the game for Foss. 7-1 Oakville at that point. Both teams would add one more, but this was just a good old-fashioned butt kicking at the end of the day. Brill Morgan, big man on the night for Oakville as he nabs the hat trick. 8-2, your final in this game. Well, the Lindsay Muskies have had a rough go of things so far this season. They've had sand kicked in their face far too many times, and they were due for a breakout. Now, Lindsay can surprise teams. Just a few weeks back, they pulled off a shocking win against a powerhouse Whitby team. Saturday, they faced off against another struggling squad as they traveled to Orangeville. Yeah, a tale of 2 struggling teams. Orangeville had only 4 wins on the year. First period, Muskies hit first off the brutal giveaway. Brock Trail to Cameron Lamport. Sweet finish, and the Fish go up 1-0. But the Flyers would respond. Breakaway pass for Connor Smart. He beats Sean Green, and O-Town evens things up at 1 apiece. And then just before the break, off the draw here, watches Liam Winslow's shot deflects off the stick of Cameron Robinson. In it goes. Puck luck for the Flyers. It's 2-1, and they would extend their lead in the second period. Muskies cough it up in their own end. Nick Cremonese with a wrister that would make Wendell Clark proud. And Orangeville were looking good, up by a deuce. But hold on, there was still 20 minutes left to play, and the Fish used that time exceptionally well. Cameron Robinson wills it past Nathan Torchia, and the lead is cut to 1. And then it's Lindsay on the power play, watches Torchia and makes the monster stop, but Brock Trail knocks home the rebound, and it's all knotted up at 3 apiece. Then high drama with 17 seconds left. Shot from the point deflected home by Mr. Trail. Lindsay completes the comeback and steals 2 points from these shell-shocked Flyers. How happy were they to get that win, just their 4th of what's been a very difficult season so far. 4-3 your final. Muskies stormed back from a 3-1 deficit to nab the points. Brock Trail had a big game with 2 goals plus a helper. That is a character win for the Fish to come back like that. Okay, viewer discretion advised if you're a Pickering fan. This game was ugly. Nice moment before the game, though, as David Allen's longtime Whitby Fury volunteer and Legion member does drop the ceremonial puck. Very good. Poor Spiros Koskinos was under fire all game for Pickering, but he comes up with one of the stops of the week to Rob Tiger McDonald, flashing the leather. And Pickering actually would draw first blood with the man advantage. Anthony Stavro squeaks it past Austin Kane, and the Panthers were up 1-0. But it was all Whitby after that. Tied 1-1 now. Scott Curtin cleans up the garbage out front, and it's 2-1 Fury. All Whitby in the second frame. 7:19 in. McDonald burns his former teammate this time as he puts it past Koskanos to make it 3-1. Then a landmark moment. Patty DeMaio snipes it home. That is his first career OJ goal, and that would be why him and his teammates have big smiles on their faces. Congrats, Patrick. It's 4-1 Whitby. Before the break, it's Ryan Heaps charging in for his 13th tally of the season. In just 21 games, that man is on fire, and that would make it 5-1 Whitby. 9-2 your final. Pickering has been porous this season. 106 goals allowed through 21 games. The powerful Fury certainly took advantage. Okay, Aurora Markham up next. Joe Montezano, take it away, buddy.
Slip shot! Rainbow Sky! Kyle Berry!
I can safely say there is no play-by-play man in North America that gets as excited as Joe. Late in the first, though, Markham squares it. Lane McKay up front makes it 1-1. Second frame now. Scramble in the Royals' crease. Carmine Alberga somehow gets this to go. And it's 2-1 Tigers. And then just 40 seconds later, Mel Malconian going the opposite direction floats it home. 3-1 Aurora. Who would have thunk it? Third period now. One more for Aurora as Eric Holland tips it in out front. Tigers win. Tigers win. It's not exactly a Trump-Clinton upset, but close. Markham had won 13 games on the year. Aurora just 2, but the Tigers pull off the shocker. They needed that win, and they get a big shot of confidence. Okay, alumni update for you. Kyle Wood with the Tucson Roadrunners of the AHL named AHL Rookie of the Month. Parker Gahagan of Buffalo named Atlantic Hockey Goalie of the Month. And Jamie Phillips of Tulsa named ECHL Goalie of the Month. Lindsey Sparks, he used to terrorize Georgetown, I remember. ECHL Player of the Week. And Paul Barafido of Buffalo, Atlantic Hockey Goalie of the Month. Welcome back to the OJ today, and now joined by the head coach of the Kingston Voyageurs, Mr. Taurine White. Toe, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Al. How are you doing this year?
Fantastic. Long time no see, huh?
Been a long time. You know what? Actually, I was looking forward to having this time with you again. You did such a great job last year, so.
Well, buddy, you know
look
what? You did a
forward to
great
doing
job
it again
too.
with you.
You're the first interview this year, just so you know that. I hope you feel honored by that. This is the interview. Let's get that in there. And the interview, of course, is brought to you by Edge Again, the official decal supplier to the OJHL. And so we're going to get to this season in a moment. But before we do that, I want to start off with last year. Just kind of a little review of what went down last year. You guys had a great season. I mean, you made it all the way to the conference final before getting shut down by the juggernaut that was Trenton. But I just want to hear your feelings on last year and how you think things went.
Yeah, last year was crazy. Last year, obviously Peter got the job quite late as GM, and I think he had hired me right around sometime probably around the June time, and so we were kind of behind the 8 ball. But hey man, we were able to put together a pretty special group, and didn't know how well things were going to turn out with that group. You know, we were older though, and we had quite a bit of personality, and I think once we had picked up David Richer, and he was able to kind of get that ball rolling for us, we realized that we had something pretty special. So yeah, it was obviously we saw quite a few guys graduate. Ian Harris, Zach Melifone graduated out a year early to Union. Rinaldi went on to Union as well. Jacob Hanlon went off to University of Ottawa. Connor Babb went to U of T. Mason Corliss went to Morrisville State in D3. It was
continuing on the tradition that you guys always send a bunch of guys off to schools every year, whether it be Canadian schools or NCAA. I wanted to talk about Rinaldi for a second because, of course, he came over from the BCHL and just lit the league on fire. I believe he finished third overall in scoring last year. Got a full ride to Union along with the Melifone as well. But talk about Rinaldi because he was a superstar last year. He was the man for you guys from a scoring perspective. Just talk about what he brought.
Yeah, Anthony brought obviously, you know, when you have a kid that can put up that many points, you know, we knew that if it was late in a game, just it didn't really matter what kind of scenario it was. You knew that he was going to pull through with a point or two. And you know, if you look back at the Markham playoff, I mean, you know, we had swept that series. And I think he finished with 11 points in 4 games. So just, you know, so it was you know, again with having him, with having Richer and Ned, it was a pretty we had a very 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 strong hockey team, and I, you know, but the way we had looked at it here was Anthony just was one piece of that puzzle, and you know, trust me, we had some really big pieces last year. Again, you know, Harris and Melifone, Lorenzo on the back end, Reed Russell. The team was built to have some success, and I thought we did. Unfortunately, we just ran into that.
No shame. I mean, no shame in losing to Trenton last year. Of course, we made it all the way to the RBC finals, or the semifinals anyway, the national championship. Get on to this year now. What the heck is wrong with you guys? You're in last place in your division, for crying out loud. Now, yes, I am laughing a little bit over that because I don't think there's probably a division in Canadian junior A hockey. You're going to find a team that's got a 9-5 record and is sitting in last place in their division, but such is the Eastern Division of the OJHL, which is an absolute terror. I mean, you guys just beat the heck out of each other, game in, game out. From top to bottom, it's an amazing division. Yeah, you guys are technically in 5th place, but you got a 9-5 record. You guys have played great so far this year, haven't you?
Yeah, we know what. It's a very different look from last year. We went a lot younger, but I think we also make up for it with a bit more speed. We certainly have a very skilled team, and we're a little bit deeper in terms of depth. I know, obviously, we know that, you know, we're losing with a player like Anthony and Jacob Hanlon. You know, we knew that there were going to be some holes, but I think overall, actually, we have quite a few players right now that are sitting very well in terms of point spread, but a very, very different look. A bit more disciplined. I mean, I think last year's group, you know, obviously we were a much larger team in terms of stature, and so, you know, when the going got tough, the guys wanted to rumble. And this year's team's a lot more disciplined. So as you've probably noticed, we're not taking as many penalties.
Because you don't have Zach and Melifone on the team. That guy was he was the definition of truculence, as Mr. Brian Burke used to like to say. Someone needed to step up in Rinaldi's absence, and Bosio has done that big time for you guys. He's had a great year so far. He's one of the top scorers in the league.
Danny's been awesome. You know what? I think we had kind of got a little bit of taste from him last year. If you notice, he did pretty much finish as a point per game guy last year as well, before he got hurt. So, you know, the expectation for him this year was to come in and be our go-to guy, and he has certainly stepped up. He's also one of our captains this year. Just a guy that is positive. His work ethic's great. Comes in here, wants to do video, wants to get better. Has also been selected for The Eastern Canada Cup Challenge has also been acknowledged as Player of the Month. But again, if you watch how hard Danny Bosio works at practice and the amount of time that he puts in, no one's really surprised. So, but we aren't a team that's just built around one guy. We do have quite a few kids this year. If I look at Josh LeBlanc, if I'm looking at my board, I will not show. Josh LeBlanc is, only 5 points behind.
I should point out that Toe's in the dressing room right now just after practice, and to his right is the breakdown, the scouting report on all the different teams which we're not allowed to show. But listen, as usual, we could go like that. We're out of time. Thanks so much for joining me, buddy.
Thanks, Al. Always a pleasure.
Okay, we'll talk later on. More OJ Today coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to the OJ Today. Well, the Stouffville Spirit entered this season with a burr under the saddle, so to speak. And the Spirit missed out on the playoffs by a point. Just one single point last year. Well, this time around, Stouffville is intent on putting any question of their playoff viability to bed early. The Spirit have been lights out so far in 2016 and have shot to the top of the North Division standings. Last weekend, they hosted struggling North York, and once again, they flexed their offensive muscle. North York struggling this year under the 500 mark, and Stouffville was all over them from the get-go. Just a minute 12 in, Tyler Kolba collects, waltzes in, and blows it past Jacob Hutchings. 1-0 for the Spirit. They'd make it 2 before the second period, and then 10:27 in, Thomas Tinmouth finds daylight behind Hutchings and absolutely wires it home to make it 3-0 Spirit. Third frame, Spirit on the power play, Max Novick calling for it, getting it, and one-timing it home to make it 4-0 for Stouffville. Then to complete the rout, it's Tinmouth with his second beauty of the game as he waltzes in and goes bottle hunting. Top shelf where Dad tries to hide the chocolate bars. 5-0 Stouffville, your final. Just a dominant performance by the Spirit. Now, the Spirit always strong at home, and this year no exception as they've lost just once in 9 games on home ice so far. Okay, this was a good one. Georgetown hosting the Junior Canadians. G-Town strikes first with the man advantage. Great puck movement here. Josh Dickinson hits wonderkin Jack Jacome. And last year's Rookie of the Year makes it 1-0 for the Raiders. But the JRC's hit back sloppy by the Raiders on their own end. New acquisition Luke Beamish loses the puck. James Turner says thank you very much. And they're all tied up at 1 apiece. But then, don't blink. Griffin James from the point lowers the boom. One-timer past Andrew Cipollone. Raiders back out front 2-1. Back and forth they go. Canadians on the PP now. David Sherman uncovered out front. Beautiful little tip in here. And once again, Toronto evens the score. Second period now. More sloppiness from the Raiders in their own end. Jordan Crocker gets stripped of the puck. The Canadians press, and ultimately it's Artur Turchuriev with the wraparound here, and Toronto takes its first lead of the game up 3-2. If not for Josh Astorino, it would have been a 2-goal deficit for Georgetown. Watch this save onto Turchuriev as he makes like Gumby, stretches to deny. Great save. Third period belonged to Georgetown. 10:39 in. Austin Cho from the point. Cipollone just can't glove it. In it trickles, and the Raiders even the score at 3 apiece. And then 3 minutes later, Shaquille O'Neal on skates, otherwise known as Jake Payette. Point shot deflected home by Ryan Takamatsu, and that would prove to be your winner as the Raiders complete the comeback. Great game from Alcott Arena as the Raiders just continue to roll. That win extended their unbeaten streak to a league best 15 games, and they've now got a 10-point bulge over second place Burlington in the West. Okay, another good contest here as Milton hosted Orangeville. No scoring in the first, but look at the save by Ruin Badenhorst here. Wow. Take another look as we slow it down as he makes the initial stop and then just sticks out the paddle to make the save of the week on Justin Paul. Second frame now, Orangeville opens the scoring. Power play, Nick Stuckless from the top of the circle beats Will Roski, who couldn't see a thing on that play, screened all the way, one's it Flyers. Milton gets it back. Chris Taylor, quick wrister that beats Badenhorst, and it's 1-1, and Badenhorst started to have problems. Minute 15 later, he gives up an epic rebound to Matt Bauman. Ice Sox pull ahead by a 2-1 count, and then Badenhorst, ooh, that stings. Can't squeeze the pads, and Jeff Lindsay takes advantage. Milton pads its lead 3-1. Cue the comeback, though. 1:08 later, Zach Taylor with the one-timer that beats Roski. The lead is cut to 1. And in the third, they do tie it. Connor Smart with the wicked wrister that handcuffs Roski. And then at the tail end of the play, the mitts are dropped, but it gets quickly broken up by the officials. So Milton, happy to get at least a point. No doubt a little disappointed they gave up the 2-goal lead, though. All right, league standings. Let's take a quick look. East Division, Coburg on top with a very slim lead over Trenton, followed by Whitby, Wellington, and Kingston in that incredibly tough division. On to the north, Stouffville leads Markham, and then it's Newmarket in third, Lindsay, Pickering, and Aurora. Pickering and Aurora really struggling this year. South Division, Oakville now tied with St. Mike's in first, followed by the Patriots, North York, Junior Canadians, and Mississauga in last with 13 points. And in the West, Georgetown with a comfortable lead over second place, Burlington, followed by Buffalo, Orangeville, and Milton with 3 wins on the season so far. Okay, the top 5 plays of the week. Number 5, Griffin James lowers the boom for Georgetown against Toronto. The cannon of a shot from the blue line. Beautiful. Number 4, Marcus Samayo of Markham sprawls to make the fantastic stop against Aurora and a losing cause. Number 3, Josh Astorino makes like Gumby against the JRCs, bending over backwards to keep the sure goal out. Number 2, Spiros Koskinas of Pickering with the larceny on former teammate Tiger McDonald, flashing the leather for the huge save. And number 1, goalies had a great week in the top 5. Ruin Badenhorst absolutely stones Milton here. Just sticks out the paddle to deny the sure goal that was heading for the gaping cage. Beautiful. And that is our OJ play of the week. And that is it for this week. Now, as mentioned, it is going to be an epic year for the league with so many huge events taking place. To keep up to date on everything, head to ojhl.ca, or on Twitter, you can find it at OJHLofficial, and on Facebook at facebook.com/OJHLofficial. Thank you so much for tuning in to our first show of the year, folks, and we'll see you next week.